Resident return visas and citizenship changes. Okay, you're an Australian permanent resident, and maybe you can't get Australian citizenship soon, like you had planned, due to the recent changes in citizenship regulations. Now, what you need to do about overseas travel in the meantime to ensure you can still get back into Australia. Changes to Australian Citizenship 2017. The changes in citizenship recently have brought the issue of resident return visas to the forefront. Now, previously, I think I could safely say that most of our Filipino partner visa holders had gone on to citizenship. Most would apply for it as soon as they possibly could, because the average Australian-Filipina couple that Down Under Visa deal with are in Australia for the long term. Now, families, babies, mortgages, the works, and becoming an Aussie is all part of that process. Now, the recent changes in citizenship requirements will mean that some Filipino and Filipina migrants won't be able to get Australian citizenship as soon as otherwise intended. Now, residency requirements of 4 years as a permanent resident, as well as the English language requirements and citizenship tests, will cause delays of several years at least. And they may mean that some sadly may never be able to get citizenship at all and will need to remain as permanent residents in Australia. Now, resident return visas, essential for permanent residents. Now, an Australian citizen may come and go from Australia as they please. Permanent residence, it's not quite so simple. Now, a permanent visa means just what it says. It's permanent. Now, you don't lose it unless you prove to be a terrorist or you commit a serious crime and they decide they don't want you in Australia anymore. Do the right thing and lead a respectable life, and you may spend the rest of your life inside Australia. However, your travel rights are not so clear and easy. Now, what they don't want are permanent residents who don't maintain solid ties to Australia. They don't want anyone deciding they can leave Australia for a large number of years and then come back as, say, a retirement option. Use it or lose it, basically. Now, you maintain your permanent residency status, but if you don't live in Australia, you risk losing the right to return. So hence the resident return visa. Now, when you gain your permanent visa, which in cases of our partner visa clients is the subclass 801 or the subclass 100 permanent partner visas, or say a subclass 101 child visa, which is a permanent visa right from the start, you are issued with a resident return visa which is valid for 5 years. Now, the permanent visa, it's permanent. There's no expiry date. The resident return visa, 5 years. Now, if you remain in Australia, no problems. And if you live in Australia for at least 2 years out of the next 5 years of your permanent residency, again, no problem. Now, we can get you another resident return visa with little drama. Now, your main issue is ensuring you don't forget all about it and hop on a plane 5 years later, or you could get a shock when you try to get on a plane for home in Australia at the end of your holiday. They won't let you on the plane if your resident return visa has expired. So your main issue is ensuring you don't forget to renew it before you travel. Now, if you need to live and work overseas and you wish to return one day in the future, well, then you need to maintain substantial ties with Australia which are of benefit to Australia. Now, these ties can be business ties, they can be cultural ties, they can be employment ties, or they can be personal ties. So if you do intend to be overseas for long periods of time and intend returning, well, I suggest that you contact us for advice so you don't get caught out. Otherwise, just ensure you remember to check if your resident return visa is still in place before you travel overseas as a permanent resident. Thank you. This video was brought to you by Down Under Visa, who specialise in visas for Australian Filipina couples. Please visit our website and complete a free visa assessment form. and please watch some of our other videos. Thank you.